Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya Farrell, and this is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythms City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got the lovely Adele Simmons, who is from Smithfield. Hello, Adele.
Hello, lovely to be here.
Now, I mentioned just Smithfield because I know it's quite a big entity, based here in the city centre. But do you just want to say a little bit more about what Smithfield actually is?
Yeah, so Smithfield is a development, so you can live, work or stay in Smithfield. So it's a group of 4 buildings. So you've got Clayworks, which is the basement floor of Smithfield Works, which we'll move on to in a bit. And build to let apartments, 151 in total. So they are a mixture of studios, 1-bed and 2-bed apartments. And then you've got One Smithfield, which there's different businesses based in there. Some of them, I think, BT are based in there now. And again, that's like whole floors of businesses rather than just individual suites. There's the Hilton as well. And then 2 Smithfield, again, the top floors are all office based, so I know that the home office is in there as well. And Davies Group Insurance, and then again, we occupy one of the basement floors, which is again Smithfield Works.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of different businesses there. There's a lot of different people there. So it's a really nice place to be. So we've also got the public realm outside if you've ever walked through past the sand pit, and it's just, it's really lovely. So it's got the greenery, it's got the sand pit, and it's just always, it's really well maintained. And we have our groundsman, Bruce, who looks after that and keeps everything nice and clean, tidy and safe.
And, the variety as well, whether you're a small business or a larger organisation, I suppose particularly I'm just going to come back, to the smaller business, a bit like myself.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you could work at home, you can have an office space and you can work at home. But there is, it's nice to know as well for me. I use like the Staffordshire Chambers of Commerce. I use their lounge a lot to go into work. But sometimes it's nice to have a bit of flexibility on where you can actually work. And I know you've mentioned various different things there that go on for businesses down at Smithfield, which one of them is co-working.
Yeah.
But what really is the benefit of co-working?
Co-working's fab. So I mentioned Smithfield Works when I was explaining the different spaces. So Smithfield Works is the co-working space within Smithfield. There's 3 different sites across the 5 different buildings. And you can rent a desk, you can rent a meeting room, you can rent an office for an hour a day, 4 weeks, a year. So it's really flexible office-based solutions. So to suit all different business types, whether you're in your dressing gown working from home and you want to step out of the dressing gown and back into the real world, whether you're a business that's just starting out and you just want to go for a gold desk, which is kind of self-managed, there's no contract, it's really flexible. You just want to kind of upscale your offices. So we are fully serviced. So when you are renting an office, that's everything from your connectivity to utilities, cleaning, etc. But also that community vibe. And that's really where co-working stands out from any other type of business premises. There's lots of collaboration that goes on. There's a real community vibe and it's all different businesses. So for us, for example, we've got a start-up that started in May last year in one side of one of our buildings, and then a big corporate giant occupying one of the offices at the other end, and they'll go and have dinner together. It's great. So to see those conversations happening and the support happening there from the bigger business, passing on their knowledge to the smaller business and connections growing, it's really satisfying and really nice to see.
Yeah, and I suppose for a smaller business, to be in front and be that close as well to a bigger organisation, when you're stepping in to go to work, that can really help to, whether it's just guidance or, again, like you just mentioned there, that knowledge sharing, that could really benefit a small business.
100%. It gives them a lot of visibility and they're quite good on social media. So like the young guys, they've got their really swish videos and social media channels and things like that. And it's all using like our spaces and they're creative. But it looks amazing. They look like they're this big national company, not just the startup that they began last year. So it's fantastic. It's kind of a fake it till you make it, and they're doing really well. They've just applied for an award through the University of Staffordshire, so it's going really well.
And again, it sounds like, being in that environment and being, again, in that co-working space as well, though, it's almost like, now I know, again, just how important networking can be, but it sounds like it's like a natural sort of growing network, again, where whether you're a one-man band up to the likes of like a Barclays or a BT or whoever, you're having that connection. But again, it's that network, which is sometimes if you go to some networking events for the first time, you could feel quite intimidated. But I suppose this is almost like an indirect way of networking.
Definitely, and I think you've coined a new phrase there, natural networking. So,
Another one.
Yeah, another one. So having a chat, even just before I came into here, having a chat is really inoffensive and not very scary. It's not intimidating. Whereas you think, right, I'm going to networking, I need to dress smartly, I need to pretend that I know about what I'm talking about and not winging it. But having a chat is a lot better. So with us, yes, we host networking events. So we host the Connects team quite a lot in Stoke, which is great. But also even the people who've just rocked up for a hot desking day and then they've seen somebody they've worked with before or just got talking to another hot desker, the natural collaboration that happens there is really, really nice to see. So I sit at the great big desk that we've got in our largest area, and I like to listen to everybody kind of collaborating, connecting, and then it's like serendipity. And you see that moment kind of flourish where they're like, oh, actually we could work together, and it's really good.
Yeah, less intimidating environment.
100%.
As well. And, we talk about here about working in a co-working environment, but the likes of Smithfield, you are actually based in the city centre in Hanley. Now, for you, how important is it as well to get to know businesses outside of sort of the Smithfield development in and around the area in which you're located?
It's massive for me. So what I originally intended to do was just add value to what we were offering. So yes, we're city centre, we've got fantastic offices and facilities, but also just by being a member of Smithfield Works or the Smithfield Development, you're then activating other partnerships as well. So we recently partnered with True Grit Gym, which is on Clough Street just over the way. So there's a discount for any members there. There's also discounts across different bars and eateries on Piccadilly as well, because for me, if they are doing well, they're going to remain open, and then people are going to want to come here because the lunchtime offering's fantastic. If you want to go out for a cocktail or a beer after work, that offering's fantastic. If you want to go up to a show after, the Regent Theatre's right up the road. There's lots of things to attract people to the town centre again. So again, if these people are living, working, staying within Smithfield and they've got all these different things that they can then do, that benefits everyone.
Yeah, and I know you can't specifically comment on any of the other local businesses. Obviously, you can only talk about what you can see inside Smithfield and the people you're closely working with.
Yeah.
But surely, I mean, again, how important would you say it is, though, to help to boost these other businesses? Because even if the small independents, whether it is a restaurant or even if it is somebody like the Regent Theatre, again, how important is it, or do you see from feedback perhaps you're getting already from the conversations that you've had with these organisations on how much it means to them as well to feel maybe more connected?
Yeah. So again, it is massively important. So the conversations that we're having lately, people are, I love what you're doing, and I'm not even doing anything with a plan. It's just reaching out and making friends with people. So I know when I spoke to, so there's a bar called Fiestas on Piccadilly, which is fantastic. And he was literally painting the outside of his shop when I went and made friends with him. So I do it in a not professional way. Again, it's this natural networking that I'll just go say, oh, can I have a look around? When are you opening? And we ended up holding our Christmas party there, which was great. And it meant a lot to him. And they're absolutely over the moon that we're encouraging all those people. There's probably over 1,000 people between living, working and staying at Smithfield. So encouraging all those people to use those local eateries, etc. It's massive to them.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Stoke-on-Trent City Centre bid as well, who do amazing work, again, within Hanley. And what's your relationship as well with the bid? I mean, how much do you get involved with them?
As much as I can. So I think the bid do absolutely fantastic work, and if ever they're talking about doing an event, I'm the first to kind of say, come and hold it here. It's a little bit of a a difficult situation with, obviously we're at the edge of the town centre and they are predominantly focused on the very centre, which I completely appreciate. But if we can connect that in some way, that would be fantastic. You know, we're happy to get involved with anything that the bid do and support it. I know that they are behind the Connects networking meetings. So again, there's lots of things we already do with the bid and keen to do as much as we can, really.
So what about then, so we're talking about, you know, like I say, local businesses, whether in Smithfield, surrounding businesses as well, but also what about the community? What about the general public? How can you see, and as well, just to mention here, Adele, I know you've just not long celebrated, you know, your first year at Smithfield, so congratulations on that. But from what you've seen in your time being down, it's almost this little, or should I say big hub down there at Smithfield. But what about the community and, you know, being connected to the general public?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've held events in the past on the estate, you know, in conjunction with the bid, with Appetite, etc. And to see lots of people using the public realm is fantastic. So if ever you walk through in the summer and there's not even an event on, there's an ice cream truck there, there's people having the lunch on the grass, having little picnics and things like that, which is lovely. So anybody's welcome to do that kind of passing through, and it's just a nice, safe place to come. And the amount of people that say, oh, it's not even like being in Hanley. It is in Hanley, and that's what Hanley deserves, and hopefully Hanley is getting better. You can see it. You know, the bid did a fantastic project last year. I can't remember what it's called, but they had loads of like post boxes and telephone exchanges painted. It looked fantastic, and it just brightens the area. It makes people want to come, and it just gives interest and just focuses on the bright rather than the dark.
Yeah. I mean, for future then, you know, future developments with Smithfield, what would you like to see for Hanley, for the city centre?
I don't think it can ever go back to what it used to be. So I've worked in Hanley since I was about 18, so fresh out of school and college, and it was fantastic. So the amount of student friends that I used to have that actually only came here for the nightlife was fantastic, and the nightlife was great. So I used to work in the Pottery Centre and then work in Walkabout, not Walkabout.
Don't think it exists
Chicago.
now.
I used to work in Chicago Rock,
Yeah.
so I'd finish there, go to Chicago Rock, and it was, they had to close the streets at night. It was that busy. It's never going to be that again, unfortunately. But what it is turning into, and you get this vibe when you're walking up Piccadilly, it's just really cool. There's like quirky little bars. It's just got a really good feeling about it, and like a cultural feeling. So going to the cultural side of the conversation is, we've got Stoke Creates amongst all these businesses. We've got Stoke Creates that have got their offices there. Again, started over a conversation while hot desking. The relationship grew, the value for them grew, and introductions and things like that, which worked both ways. I mean, they've even had MPs come into the space, which is great. They've held events and networking and exchange forums there, which is fantastic. And, you know, working in their offices, that's where the Worldcraft City status was worked on as well. Absolutely fantastic, and they are absolutely thriving. And now working on the centenary within there, it just makes me really proud that that's happening in Smithfield.
And do you know, just mentioning that Stoke Creates and that cultural side, because you're, you know, Smithfield is based in what is called as the cultural quarter.
Correct. Yeah.
But again, that relationship between a business and whether, you know, it's a CIC or artists and everything like that, how do you, or what have you seen from your experience so far down there at Smithfield, and how, again, that brings value to everybody within the town centre?
It's the conversation. So when you sit and you watch people, it's not like another business is talking to another business. It's like friends are chatting, which is what I'm about. So if ever you come for a viewing at Smithfield Works, you just have a brew and a chat, and I'll walk you around and tell you about everything. And it's that side of it. So it's the comfortable side of business, if there is one. There is now. So it's that comfortable side and just having that chat. So back to that natural networking. And that's what's really nice to see. You don't have to be like the spreadsheets all over your screens and you've got papers all over your desk or whatever. It can just be that chat and then that follow-up, and then the outcome is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that as well. I mean, I know from my own experience, if you're working on your own, sometimes it is nice to have a breather and just have more of that natural, like you say, chat conversation, and I think more comes out
Yeah.
of that, and you probably share more if you're in more of a relaxed environment.
Agreed, definitely. You do share a lot more because it's just comfortable. And that's the main thing, is anybody that comes to Smithfield, I want them to be comfortable. It's, it can be a little bit intimidating when you first walk in if you're not used to that kind of environment. So I kind of pick up on that kind of vibe, and then I'll just go and have a brew and just chat to them, and they'll be comfortable, whoever they are.
Yeah.
Whenever offices are coming, so I've soon got about 31 people coming, new people. Again, we'll do introductions. I'll put on like a members breakfast so that everybody can meet them, have a chat, get used to each other. It's just about making people feel comfortable in the workspace and actually want to come to work every day.
So what I'm picking up on, as well as, like the environment you said there, the benefits of even co-working, but it sounds like it's very much about being a bit of a hub, or almost like a community connecting kind of hub as well, working with all these other organisations and doing those collaborations, and very much being a positive thing for the area.
Definitely.
And keeping it local.
Definitely. And keeping it local, it reflects in, the businesses that are benefiting from us as well. So when I first arrived, a lot of our businesses, or a lot of our contracts were with kind of Manchester-based, outside contractors. So actually bringing that revenue back into the local area is really important for the social value aspect. I couldn't actually put a number on how many jobs we've created, because if you think about the offices that have come and then expanded, there's all those numbers as well. But for us specifically as Smithfield Works, there's at least 5 different jobs that we've put out there. So things like door contractors, we used to use a Bolton-based company. Now we use a Stoke-of-Trent based company. Most of our glass or door repairs internally are done by a local company again. The PR for the estate is done by a local company. And also kind of the printing and marketing materials, that's done by a local company. So anything where I can move it locally, I try and do, because the social value in that is if the area has got more businesses that are thriving because I've used them and then encouraged others to use them. So whether it's offices or just somebody I've networked with, if I've recommended them, then that business is going to thrive in Stoke-on-Trent, which is a fantastic place to do business.
So one last question, Adele, before I let you go. You've been at Smithfield for 12 months. You've done your first year just recently. What would you like to see for the local economy?
I'd love it to thrive. I think it's doing a lot better. I think everything's looking up. So if everybody can kind of grab onto that and work together and just push it, then I think we're in a really good direction. Obviously there's been lots of development that's been announced across the area. If we can continue with that and make the existing spaces better so that they connect to these new developments a lot better, then I think we're onto a winner, and it'll just revitalise the town centre and make it somewhere where people want to come back to again.
Adele, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No, thank you. That's Adele Simmons here on Business Spotlight with me, Sonya Farrell.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.